They did the crime, and they've served their time. But the US is deporting hundreds of Cambodians who've been released from prison. Some of those deported came to the US as babies, fleeing the Khmer Rouge genocide. I'm Steve Chow. On this episode, 101 East finds out how the deported are surviving in a land they hardly know, and meets the families they've been forced to leave behind.
Hello?
It's the call that Sun Possi Cheng waits for every day.
See you. Look so big.
Yeah, he's getting big.
Hey, bud.
It's the only thing connecting him to his wife and infant son, who were thousands of miles away.
How's he been doing today?
Fine.
His hair's growing
Still
thicker.
got the hair missing in the back.
Possi has never met his little boy.
He's standing up.
He hasn't been able to see his wife Alison since she found out she was pregnant.
Pretty soon he'll be running around the house.
Not for a while.
Nah.
Well, I'm gonna give him a bath here soon.
Just a year ago, Alison and Possi were living the American dream. They were madly in love and had just married in rural Minnesota.
Well, I met her the summer of 2014 through friends.
I didn't even know there were Cambodians until I met him. I just thought there were, Asians, like just Chinese people. Yeah. I guess our first real date was like the Minnesota State Fair. And that's where he proposed to me, was at the Minnesota State Fair.
It was the best time of my life, being married to her, or at her wedding.
We spent the weekend together with our friends.
2 weeks after their wedding, Alison discovered she was pregnant.
We were both really excited and happy. We just, since we had had a miscarriage once already, so we were excited to actually have a baby.
But their young family was about to be torn apart. A few days after their honeymoon, Possi was detained by US immigration officials.
He said that everything would be okay, not to worry, because he didn't want me to lose the baby and stress out too much. It's okay, buddy.
What's little man?
Sleeping in the swing.
When he was just 14, Possi was convicted of second-degree murder in a robbery gone wrong. At the time, he was the youngest person in his county to be tried and convicted as an adult. He spent more than 17 years in prison for his crime and was released in 2012.
People do make mistakes, and he did make one when he was younger, but, he served his time. He made himself a better person.
When Possi and his family arrived here as refugees in 1986, they didn't realize that they needed to apply for citizenship. Almost 10 years later, Possi's conviction made him a target for deportation because he was still a permanent resident, not a citizen. Just 5 days after his son was born, Possi was put on a one-way flight to Cambodia.
Why did this have to happen now? Of all things, We have a baby, and we're buying a house. Why would they do this to us?
While Alison's husband Possi is trapped in a country he's never been to before, Alison is struggling to raise their baby alone.
I wish that Possi could have been able to hold him or, something at least before he left. But yeah, we talk through video, FaceTime. I mean, I don't know if like the baby knows that that's who his father is, but
Sometimes he acts.
yeah, he gets to see him.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you later then. Yep, love you too.
Hung up. God willing, one day I'll be able to actually hold him. Hopefully he'll recognize me, keep video chatting. It's hard, it's difficult. Life goes on, so I gotta, the world doesn't stop for me.
Thousands of immigrants like Possi have been or will be deported from the US because they've committed crimes. Their offences vary from violent felonies like murder to simple misdemeanours like property damage. The one thing these cases all share are the shattered lives they leave behind.
17 and a half years of incarceration is one punishment. And now being deported to a country that I know nothing about, that's another punishment. I'd rather do prison time.
Possi says he has nothing but regret for the crime he committed. A crime he says his wife and son are now being punished for.
I have deep remorse for it. You know, what I did was really bad. But can I change it? No. Can I change the way I am now? Yes. I could use that to better myself and to help others out, you know, so they don't follow. Some people change. I'm not gonna say all, but the ones that do change and can make a living and it's giving back to society, they deserve to stay.
Back in rural Minnesota, Allison says she knew about her husband's past. But in jail, she says, he turned his life around.
He went to college in there. He finished high school. You know, he got his barber's license. You know, he got on it into society and he became a better man. He didn't do crime after crime after crime.
Allison now lives in a one-bedroom, low-income flat. Juggling a full-time job and caring for her son, she rarely gets to socialize. But today, she has visitors.
Hi. Oh my gosh, he looks just like Possi. Oh my gosh, he's
How are
so
you?
cute.
Like Allison, these women have also had family members detained by US immigration. They've banded together to form a group called the Minnesota 8, named after 8 Cambodian Americans, including Possi, who were rounded up for deportation in August last year.
We made onesies.
Oh my gosh.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Monta Chum's brother, Cham Rung has been in detention for more than a year now. He's still fighting in the courts to stay in the US.
So Shorty just texted me. He said, I just woke up for lunch. I'm in lockdown, so I can't call, but tell Allison that I'm praying for her and Possi and their son, and God bless them, and I love you.
Oh, wow. Are they in lockdown a lot?
Yeah, they can't go outside at this place.
Her brother Cham Rung was convicted in 2009 of breaking 3 windows in a bar. He served just 40 days in prison. A judge ruled against his deportation earlier this year because of the hardship it would cause his family. But the government is appealing. They still want him out of the country.
For the judge to have granted him relief now and sees that he poses no threat, for them to still continue to detain him is just really inhumane and unjust.
Hi, Layla. Hi, Ming Manta.
Give me a hug.
I love you. Happy 4th.
Monta says she worries most about Cham Rung's wife Jill and his 5-year-old daughter Layla.
So like, well, what about like you? How are you doing?
I'm just praying. I don't really know what to say.
Today is the anniversary of Jill and Cham Rung's first date. It's the only time in 13 years that they've been apart on this day.
I should have taken a picture or a shot of like his card that he sent me. It says happy anniversary and how he wish he was here. I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
I love you.
He's gonna come home.
Layla seems happy playing with her cousin, but Monta says her niece is suffering.
You know, the teachers have mentioned that she just has random bursts, you know, where she's just crying and wanting her dad, and they don't know what to do.
Cham Rung is being held in a prison 3 hours from St. Paul, Minnesota, where his family lives. It's a long drive past fields and farms in America's Corn Belt. We've just arrived at the county jail where Cham Rung is currently being held. We're not allowed to take our cameras inside, so we're waiting for him to call us on the phone. Hello?
Hello. Hi, is this Karishma?
Yes, hi, Cham Rung.
Hi.
In the past year, Cham Rung has been moved from jail to jail. He says he'll never get used to it.
There's been violent incidents, physical fight between two inmates or maybe a couple of inmates on one inmate.
He's managed to keep out of trouble, but Cham Rung says there are some things he can't escape.
I feel like we haven't been treated that well. I think it's because they look at all of us as immigrants, the way they pronounce our names or the way they direct their orders. You feel like there's some type of race issue between us and the guards and the COs and the ICE officers, where they don't give you respect as a human being. They're more of like, just shut up, don't speak, look forward.
Cham Rung's cell overlooks the prison parking lot, his only window to the world.
You know, we take everything for granted. The trees, you know, the birds, the lake, you know, just going on walks with my daughter, just taking her out in the wild. That's what I really miss.
Yeah.
You're not getting any younger, you're just getting older.
What's been the hardest part about being in custody and facing this deportation?
Being separated from my family, my parents, my 5-year-old daughter, my wife. It's a lot to leave behind, so, you know, it's worth fighting for her.
Cham Rung was just a baby when his family arrived in America as refugees. They were fleeing one of the world's worst genocides. Between 1975 and 1979, almost 2 million people died in Cambodia under the Khmer Rouge, as the party tried to create a communist utopia. Like many of the Cambodian Americans now being deported, Cham Rung was born in a refugee camp outside Cambodia, but he could still be deported there.
He shouldn't be deported to a country that he's never been. He wasn't born in that country. He's an American. He's lived here all his life. This is all he knows. He is an American boy.
It's a point Monta is determined to prove. She says her family didn't know they had to apply for citizenship when they were accepted here as refugees.
Release the Minnesota!
Today, she and other activists are bringing their fight to the White House.
So we're standing up today not just for those who have been deported this year, but the 16,000 who have final orders of removal to Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, including...
These protesters have travelled from across the country, pushing back against what they call an anti-immigration campaign by the Trump administration.
We aren't disposable. We are people. We are human. And what's happening is tearing our families apart.
It's a message that Monta and the other Minnesota 8 families are taking off the street and into Congress to convince politicians to stop the deportations. First up is Republican Congressman for their state, Jason Lewis.
Hey, gang. How are you? Hello. I'm just off to another meeting, but thought I'd say hi.
Monta has just a few minutes to get her message across.
So it's my brother that we're talking about here. And he broke 3 windows back in 2009. Yep. They released him after 40 days on good behavior, and now 8 years later, being picked up for deportation. But I mean,
really?
To understand, he actually won his immigration case, but the government is appealing.
So many of our politicians really don't know what is happening to our people, to their constituents. One in particular asked me, wow, this is happening? That really surprised me that the Department of Homeland Security is doing things like this, and our congressmen and women don't even know that it's happening.
In one government office after another, the families tell their stories, begging Congress representatives and their staff to save their loved ones.
Come back. I need y'all's help.
And I'm sorry, I wish there was something that I could do right now to help you guys. Because go ahead.
We have to tell my siblings, he was 5 years old at the time, that my dad is not a bad person. And even though they're in this detention and they're wearing a yellow, orange jumpsuit.
This is our home. So many of us have been here since the early 80s. We love America. That's who we are, not what we've done or anything like that.
But the US government does not consider Monta's brother or any of the deportees to be American because they didn't apply for citizenship.
Hi, Matt. I'm Karishma from Al Jazeera.
Very nice to meet you.
While the government denied our request for an interview, we did speak to Matthew O'Brien.
The fact is that criminal behavior has consequences, and if you are not a citizen of the United States, one of those clear consequences is that you may be deported.
For 6 years, O'Brien was a lawyer for the US Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, commonly known as ICE. It was his job to deport felons.
I dealt with people who had committed crimes ranging from terrorism to participation in organized crime to kidnaps and rapes to child sexual abuse. These individuals were given one of the greatest gifts that a large segment of the world wants to receive, which is the ability to reside permanently in the United States, and they lost that right through their own action.
But many deportees and their families argued that America is their only home.
My brother is, his identity is not in the crime that he committed. My brother's identity is in the man that he's become. He made a mistake, and we acknowledge that he's made a mistake, but he's also served his time.
More than 800 ethnic Cambodians have been deported since 2002. Most were thrown out because of their criminal convictions. I'm traveling to Cambodia's capital, Phnom Penh, to meet one of the deportees, Minnesota father Possi Cham.
Phnom Penh is a long way from Minnesota. It's noisy, it's crowded, all the signs are in the Khmer language. It's pretty overwhelming, actually.
Hello. Possi is living on the fringes of this chaotic city.
Hi, Possi.
Hey, hello there.
I find him cutting a friend's hair, a skill he learnt in prison and took on as a career once he was released.
Before you start, I have something for you from your friends and your wife back home.
What is it? Oh, nice. My tools. Barber's tools. That's what I need. Wow. I didn't think I ever see these again.
Possi has been here for 5 months, living in this halfway house run by an NGO for deportees who have nowhere else to go.
Do you have any family here?
No, like, blood family, not that I know of. I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand, so I have no ties to Cambodia at all.
Possi says he tries to keep busy because being away from his wife and newborn baby is unbearable.
What's your baby like?
Well, he's a mini-me, but from what I hear through Allison, he's a happy baby. But wish I could be there to actually witness it myself, you know, to see the smile or the laughter. You know, I'm supposed to be the man of the household, you know, the breadwinner, and I'm not there to support her or to support my new family.
Possi says getting used to life in Cambodia hasn't been easy. Everything from the food to the people feels foreign.
Do you know what all of this stuff is?
No. It doesn't look like anything you'll be able to eat. I feel like I'm a tourist. I don't look the type as far as a local here, so I'm not accepted. When they find out like you're a deportee, they're like, well, that's a bad person. You definitely don't fit in.
This is the decision she's got to make. Am I going to stay with my husband?
Despite their best efforts, the distance is taking a toll on Possi and Allison's relationship.
So I try to tell them that I'm doing well and that I'm trying my best to hold it together, because you could easily break down.
Possi is determined to stay strong, but other deportees have warned him that he needs to be careful.
There's alcoholism, and of course there's drugs. A lot of guys lean towards that to numb the pain, to numb the loneliness, to numb just the hurt that they have, just to get away from reality. I've heard of guys that committed suicide. I've heard of guys where they just go downhill and get incarcerated here.
Possi and many others are clinging to the hope that one day they will be reunited with their families.
We understand that the separation of the family is not so good. Yes.
They found an unlikely ally in the Cambodian government, which is now refusing to accept any more convicted felons until their agreement with America is renegotiated.
Even in the US, the Khmer society over there, they also condemn the government. Why you make these people come back to Cambodia, make them separate from their family?
But it's not compassion driving the Cambodian government, it's money. The US has been paying Cambodia $950 for every deportee it takes, but Cambodia wants a higher fee.
We need more and more money in order to make those people can live like the other people in the country.
So how much are you seeking in compensation per deportee?
I can say that I hope that the more the better, the more the better.
Cambodia's stand has infuriated the US, but as the two countries bicker, the future of hundreds of families hangs in the balance. Allison and Possi desperately want to be together, but slowly they're losing hope.
It's like we're living two different lives. I mean, which we are, it's just, we shouldn't be. I do wonder, you know, how our son will turn out. You know, not having his father here. He's, you know, he's gonna talk soon, he's gonna walk soon. And, you know, he's gonna wonder where his dad is.
15,000 kilometers away in Cambodia, Possi is also frightened for their future.
I kept a job. I paid my taxes. You know, I was on the verge of buying a house. Isn't that the American dream? You know, raising a family in America, the white picket fence. The American dream.